Beverly Johnson, and I'm a board member for the Buffalo and Erie County Board of Trustees, Buffalo and Erie County Public Library Board of Trustees, okay? And we are here today with an awesome panel of ladies. These ladies have come to us from far and wide, and we are just so honored to have you here in the City of Good Neighbors. In saying that, my sister wrote a book. We got that up because when you witness someone doing something in their gift, if you will, it becomes almost like you want to push them forward even further, you know. So she wrote a book. A good book too. A good book too. Yeah. She'll tell you all about it. But so 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I did my first author talk. It was with my sister. And it was Friendship Matters, and all of our friends came, and it was just a really good basis to get started. Okay. And after that, it took off. People were contacting me and saying they wanted me to do their book talks, and I just felt empowered, you know what I'm saying? And it was showing and highlighting my people. So as she got into her element of the book writing and the element of being an author, she met some other people. And then she said, you gotta meet these people. It's wonderful. I don't know if this is my spot. I think I found my people. And that's when I got to meet these other young ladies here on my panel. So if I can go ahead and just introduce to you who we've brought here. To my left here, I have Miss Iris Bolling. Miss Bolling is an international and award-winning author, USA Today Bestselling list. She has numerous books. I'm not even going to try and give you all the information. I'm going to let her talk in regards to her journey through this. I was fortunate enough to meet Miss Bolling and Miss Jackson at Miss Bohannon's event, and I mean it was an event. And all the romance writers were there. It was just so beautiful to see the love that they shared with each other and how they embraced each other and the stories that they tell, which I want to definitely share here today. So next to Miss Bolling, we have my sister, Miss Rona D. Miss Rona D is the author of this now series, Friendship Matters, and her most recently released book, Matters of Friendship. Next to her, we have New York Times and USA Today best-selling list, as well as international award-winning author, Miss Brenda Jackson. She's a pioneer, and I definitely want her. It's not for me to tell, but the way that they tell their stories, it's just so natural. Like, if not me, who? That's how I get it from them, you know. And Miss Shay O'Hannon, from House of O'Hannon, she brings these ladies together, and I mean, she puts a battery in that back, and they go. So. This is my panel today, and today I want to just give each one of you an opportunity to just introduce your work and what you're doing right now, and then we can get our conversation started. Ms. Iverson. You put us in order, so you tell me what you need.
I think she did that.
She did. She sure did.
Yeah. You know how you know I did it because it's set up right.
How do you argue with that?
Right.
I've been doing this for a couple years, I told you, right? She's been doing this for how long?
Oh, right.
15. Let's.
My name is Iris Bolling. I am a USA Today bestselling author. I am an independent author. I do not work with publishing houses. I do it all myself. That means I write stories. That means I send them out. I do send it out to be edited. That means we create our own covers. We do the printing of my books. We do the uploading of my books to everywhere that it goes. Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, Apple, wherever you buy your books. I do it all myself as an independent author. And the reason why I do that, number one, I'm greedy. I like keeping whatever I make. If I put in that hard work, I feel like I get to get the rewards back from that. Let me put it that way. I do not have anything against people who want to publish with others. I have no issues with that at all. I applaud them. But when it comes to an independent author, I get to write my stories my way. And it is something about having that kind of power that is just something that I'm not willing to just turn over to someone else to have. So that's the first thing. Not only do I'm about to release my 50th novel, but I also produced my own TV series. We have 2 seasons of that. You can find it underneath a Brain Power on YouTube right now, y'all. You can because it's just been picked up after that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
That was 10 years ago, and it's just been picked up again to be distributed. So Brain Power Studio is distributing the Heart series again. So it's back up there again. I also did a full-length movie by a book that was written by another of our icons. Beverly Jenkins. And it's something about Beverly's work that was just so rich, I wanted to see it on film. And no one was putting it on film. So when she gave me the opportunity, after she saw my Heart series, she gave me the opportunity to put one of her stories on film. And she let me pick which ones. I picked Daily Sexy. I like daily stuff and I like sexy stuff. To do, and we did that on full-length movie, and that is out on Amazon Prime right now. You can go out there and see that. And yes, I did those things independently because I wanted to be able to tell her story the way that her story was written. So I've been blessed to have people who encourage me and support me to a point where I can continue to do these things independently. Because I think when you do it for yourself, you should be able to get those rewards, but you can also tell your stories the way that you want your stories to be told. So that is who I am, and now I'm going to turn it over to who you want to go next.
I do want to go next.
I have to add something in there too as well. As far as Irish, she also teaches workshops. She teaches authors how to prepare their own table. She takes them from the beginning to the end. Not only how to just format your stories, how to, she give you writing tips, but she also show you how to upload your books from the beginning, everything from the beginning to the end. So she teaches the authors from A to Z, and then we pass them off to the legends for mentorship. So she does more than just what she's saying, and it would take a lifetime to just explain it all. But she is a mentor to a whole lot of authors. I mean, Rona included. Rona's like, she was asking me, I'm like, girl, you better call Iris, I don't know. And so, like she said that, and then she got workshops coming up. She travels everywhere to teach. So yeah, so that's I just had to put a little bit in there.
That's why you got representation.
Ain't nothing like a good posse.
I'm telling you.
Okay, so who won it?
Rona.
Rona, okay. Rona D, how you be?
I be good, and I'm so happy to be here. So of course, you know, I'm Rona Drinker, maiden name Peeler, for those of you that know me from back in the day. For me, I'm the newbie of the group, obviously, right? And for me, writing wasn't necessarily my initial plan, but I just love telling a good story. And so I was just able to put that in pen to paper. And so it kind of happened organically, me becoming an author. I mean, I feel like even the second book is when I wrote the first book and I know I'm an author, but I felt like an author with the second book. Because I absolutely had way more knowledge than what I had the first time, much more interaction with people who have done this previously, that shared openly wisdom. And so writing that was now called the Friendship Matters series, for me was just really, it's been an exciting, challenging, venture, but it's been worth it. You know what I mean? Each time I'm learning. And that for me is very special. And of course, to write a story that centers here, because this is a foundation as some of my friends are here. I mean, went to high school, grew up, same neighborhood, new friends I've established. But that foundation of friendship is what I learned living in the city of Buffalo. It's how I was raised. It's the culture that we have. It's so funny, we run into different people and I'm meeting people and my sister's introducing me and I hear them saying the things that I say in Maryland. I'm a hugger. You know what I mean? When I see you, I'm not gonna shake your hand, I'm gonna touch you. Because that is how we're raised. And to me, I poured all of that into the Friendship Matters series. So you got the first one, Friendship Matters, and then the second one, The Matters of Friendship, and the third one is coming. For those of you.
So when?
Since you threw it out there.
So what happened?
We'll let you guys know when it's coming.
What happened was I got to get them creative juices flowing, and they flow when it's warm. So we'll see. It's coming. It's coming. So that's pretty much been my journey. I think it's something that I desire to do when I retire from my 9 to 5. This is all I will do because I have really developed a love for writing. The other thing I'd just like to say is that for me, the opportunity, because I'm also independent, the opportunity to be able to write in my voice, in the conversation style in which I do, without having anyone telling me to change anything, is truly a blessing. And I find that people have received that so well. It's relatable. And because I'm able to do that, I think that has been probably the best part, of the journey. So being independently published. So that's who I am.
Sorry, I need to add something. Not only does she has the books, The Friendship Matters, and the whole series now, she's also developed the Friendship Matters Experience movement, where this is Rona D and Friends. This is one of her experiences. She does trips. I mean, she embodies what lifting while climbing means. So it's not just for the books for her. It's the whole experience. So she does trips. They travel. She throws parties, all in the matters of friendship. So she's just not an author, but she's also it's a movement for her. And that's why it's going to work. We're trying to develop it into movies, into series. So she's more than just an author. And you will see that once you get her book and you read her book.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm sorry.
we are.
We're having a conversation, Ms. Jackson.
Oh. I am New York Times, USA Today, bestselling author Brenda Jackson. I'm just honored to be on this panel, not only with Iris and Rona and Shay, but I'm in Buffalo. I passed through Buffalo before on my way over to Canada to do a book signing, but this is the first time I've spent any time in Buffalo.
Don't let it be
And
last.
you're right. You're hungry.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and
Keep touching me.
and my youngest son, we're huggers, and we'll tell people, but everyone don't receive hugs, so it's so nice to be in a group that are other huggers.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what can I say? I started writing when I was in the 8th grade to entertain my classmates. But that was never my career goal. It was just something I did. My classmates would meet my school bus and get my stories that were written on notebook paper, 10 pages, mostly like Gidget and Moondoggie sort of stories, beach stories I'm from Florida. So, the hour from Daytona, so, those type of beach stories. And that Felicelli and Bobby Darin, those type stories. So what I always wanted to be in corporate America. Went to college, got married right out of high school, went to college for corporate America. Retired from State Farm Insurance after 37 years. And it was only when State Farm put me on the road where I had to travel a lot. Because I had a district of State Farm agents in South Carolina, and I stayed in hotel rooms, and I got bored. So I picked up writing again, and it was just for fun. And when I went to my class reunion, high school reunion, they were always asking me, did you ever get a book published? I'm like, no, that was in the past. So they challenged me to write a story to get it published, and I did. I wrote 3 stories before I decided to get it published. And then that's when the rejections came, from major publishers. We're not ready for Black Love. So, okay, put it on the back burner and then I'll wait. But I didn't just put it on the back burner, I kept writing. So when the time came, I was ready, and I got a 3-book contract, movie deal, not movie deal, book deal. So that's how that was. But I enjoyed corporate America, still was not. By the time I retired from State Farm, I had written 50 novels. I was the first Black romance author to make New York Times and USA Today. And a lot but I'm still Miss Corporate America. And so, but State Farm helped propel my career by sending me to Black Expos, representing the company as an author. So that was great for them to do. BET had made one of my books into a movie. So good things was happening on the literary side, as well as my career in corporate America. But at 55, I made the decision to come out of corporate America and write full time. So I admire these ladies that are independent. I'm a hybrid. I write both. I write for HarperCollins. Under contract for HarperCollins. And then I write for myself. I started my own publishing company before any authors really thought of starting publishing companies that were already writing for traditional publishers. And I started writing because I wanted the freedom that you all said. When the publishers say, no, that's not the ideal book we want, come up with another idea. I said, okay, because I knew I was going to write that book anyway. I was going to write it under my own company. So, I write, give them what they want, but then I write what I want. If they turn down, say, no, this is not what we're ready to go here yet. Okay, good, thank you. And I write it under my own company. So I have the best of both worlds. So right now I'm in the movie making. I have 3 movies out on Passion Flick, Amazon Prime. I got a movie out on Roku with Brain Power. So I just love writing. I write every day. It's just not just my job, it's my passion. because I love romance. I love romance. I believe in romance. I met my husband when I was 14, and we dated all through high school. I still was going steady rain. He gave me at 15. So I'm truly in, I truly believe in the passion and just the happy ending. And my husband and I, we were married. We didn't have kids right away. We wanted to become best friends. We dated through high school. We got married. I got married at 19. He was 21. I didn't have my first child until I was almost in my 30s. So we became the very best of friends. And that was important to us. And so now, and we were married for 42 years before he passed away. So it's still, after 11 years of losing him, it's still a struggle because I have lost my very best friend, my soulmate, the man who gave me just my motivator. But I write now in his honor, and I continue to write those romance stories. And as of Tuesday of this week, my 150th novel came out. 150 novels, so I can see hit 200 pretty soon. He was with me until I wrote my 100th novel that I celebrated in 2013. So from the time he passed away in 2013 to now, I've written 50 more novels. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, we're proud of you.
I write everything. I love it.
So we're gonna add something. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we at the 150th novel. We're also this year celebrating the 30th anniversary of her being an author. We're celebrating the 25th anniversary of her being a Harlequin author. And we're also celebrating her 20th anniversary for her Brenda Jackson Readers Reunion Cruise. So it's a cruise that is like her and 300 of her readers. They go out and they go everywhere, y'all. It's absolutely crazy. So on top of that, this year's like a celebration year for her. And she's like, I want to celebrate with Rona. I'm like, say less, call me, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we're at too. So she has done everything like she mentioned. And she was the first one to win the RWA Nora Roberts Lifetime Achievement Award. And if you guys know Nora Roberts, it's like, yo, how you did that? So she got that. She's been like the first in everything she does. And we love her so much because we have the younger authors like Rona and like Iris, who, you know, they're independent and sometimes they get overlooked because they're independent. Brenda Jackson was like, no, come with me. They go see you. They looking at me, they go see y'all too. And so that's what we love so much about her. Like I said, we have our thing we call Lifting While Climbing, and she embodies that, and we love her for that, and we love that the friendship that she's developing, the friendship, the people who just want to be with her. So I mean, it works, it flows, I love it, and this is my crew, man.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Yes, sir.
I remember Rona and I attended Ball a few years ago for the first time.
Yeah.
So we're looking around, don't know anybody, we just looking. So we met Ms. Brenda, spoke, you know, I was like, okay, that's not it, okay, cool. We knew who she was. So then we go to sit down and eat, and there wasn't any room. So it was Brenda, and I think it was your cousin was with you.
I'm Jackie.
Ms. Brenda said, no, y'all come on sit with us. And that was the way she grabbed Rona up from the beginning. Didn't know it from a can of paint.
Yeah.
But the way she grabbed Rona, and I sat back and was like, wow. We finished eating, and we just looked at each other and said, did that just happen? And we just can never thank you enough for just embracing my baby and getting her, helping her get what she needs to be. I can never thank you enough.
I have to say that is what really sparked me to want to bring the Friendship Matters experience and the Rona Dean Friends panel to Buffalo, because when I attended the Raw, not only did these ladies, but there were others, you know what I'm saying, the whole group of, they not only celebrated themselves, they gave, you know, they tooted their own horn, but they tooted each other's horn. They shared that love. They showed that I'm here and I'm pushed to be here because I have a whole group of people behind behind me, and there's more coming. There were young ladies there who had just started out writing. There were people there, and here in Buffalo, it was Indie Author Day, Indie Author Weekend in Buffalo, and we do that the first weekend in October every year. And I just looking out in the audience, and I see some of my people who have attended the Indie Author and have gotten things published too, and wanted to be here to celebrate you ladies as well, because if you're out there shining for you, you're also out there shining for us. It's a minority thing, it's a woman thing, it's a Black thing, it's a us thing, and you do it so well and so effortlessly. Now, you talk about, we're here on the friendship situation, but your story about with your husband, and that is part of what I see in the Friendship Matters series with Rona and her husband. I do feel that, a lot of people feel like the romance novel things is all women things, but these ladies have incorporated a strong Black presence of the male role in your books. And I want to know, and I'm just going to start asking some questions, with the male roles, the prominent male roles in your stories, how did you really kind of focus on that too? Because it's not just this social love that, and always this, that's not what that is. It's a love story. They're love stories. I've frequented, I like to listen because I want people to paint the picture for me, and I can't stop, so I'm always going. So in my car, in my office, I'm listening to books. My sister won't go ahead and just do that for me, but I'm okay. I'll read your book. But tell me about your men in your stories, because we talk about the women, but we got some men in the audience, and they want the way that those men at Raw talked about them writing romance and not being heard or seen like that.
And a lot of people didn't even know that though.
I didn't know what I was gonna get when I got it. I didn't know, but it was just such a well. I just think I could continue to just go and pick up people and bring them back to Buffalo so that we can see them here.
But I think Shay should explain what raw is. And
Oh,
share-
absolutely,
yeah, share it so
absolutely.
Well,
everybody
I'm her
knows.
agent, but she's my manager. That's why I tell people. I'm her agent, and she's my manager. Well, so I'm Shay Bohan, everybody. How y'all doing? And so I started radio and TV and all the good stuff, and so I did that forever. And then I wanted to bring. I went to a couple of conferences, and I was like, "Oh, this is cute." You're like, "Okay, you get to meet your favorite author, and whatnot." But then, I think I was in my room at 7:00, like, what? Now what? What am I? What am I supposed to do? So I was like, I want to do something different. I wanted to bring my real life, I guess, my 9 to 5, which was radio and TV, with my hobbies, which is my love and my passion for books. So I created Raw, Romance Readers and Writers. And I love, my brothers used to be like, you always like being around old people. I'm like, I know! Because you get so much wisdom from them. And they've been here before, you have to listen. If you just listen to what they say, I'll be around them. I date older men. You heard that? All that stuff. It is what it is. Hey, it's being real, right? And so I created Raw, Romance Readers and Writers, because I love the legends. We're standing on their shoulders. And what really got me, I heard an author once say, they said, oh, she was the first romance author, whatever. And then that girl just said, thank you. I was like, thank you? That's not right. You're lying. You're not the first Black romance author that did nothing. You're not the first Black romance author. So I was just like, you know what? I used to create a place, to where they know where we came from. They know the shows that they're standing on. You ain't gonna say thank you. You're gonna say, oh, thanks. But have you heard of Brenda Jackson? Have you heard of Beverly Jenkins? Have RWA's Romance Writers of America? It was started by a Black woman, and nobody knew that. It's Vivian Stevens. And they was like, Vivian Stevens. So after I explained to them who Vivian was, then they thought the lady was dead. I'm like, no, you should go down there and heal me. So, I was like, okay, Raw is going to, our theme system Wi-Fi. We have a Legends Ball. We get 5 legends every year. We bring them in. We love on them. We, show them we appreciate them. And then we have a Legends Ball. And we bring in entertainment. Like last year was Howard Hewitt. The first year was Regina Bell, because I'm like, yo, we're going to have fun. We're going to party. We're gonna bring in the indie office because they got this little stigma between the traditional office and the indie office. And I'm just like, we're gonna bring them all together, and we just gonna love on everybody. And that's what Raw is. And then we have the men's lounge. And I got the men's lounge because we tell her business real quick, right? Like this auntie, right? So Uncle Gerald, which is her husband, she was like, I be out here signing books, and he be upstairs running up the bill, watching TV and all that stuff. He has nothing to do because, of course, you got to support the husbands, you got wives, you got, that come to support their wives. But when they get there, then it's like what they're going to do. So I started the Men in Action Lounge in honor of my Uncle Gerald. Haas is the face of it now, you know what I'm saying? He's holding it down.
Somebody got to do it.
And it's just men. It's no women allowed. Like I had a sheriff at the door. You are not getting up in here. They're gonna go in there and they're gonna bond, and that's what it kind of embodies the friendship marriage experience too. Because the guys they had a friendship that we didn't know. We're like, what happened in this room? Because they came out, they were like, yo, we friends forever. We bonded on so much stuff, So we got that going on. We have, like I said, the Legends Ball. We have the summit where we introduced the indie artists. Rona was on our summit last year. Her and Monica Walters. Anja, like the younger, they call the newbies. Of course, Iris, Iris is not a newbie anymore, but she like hanging with the younger ones. So we let her have it. It is what it is. And so that's what Raw is for. Romance, Leaders, and Rise. We have it every 2 years. But it's all about lifting white climb, and it's all to honor the legends. You got to know your history. You got all these banned books out here. You got so much going on. They're trying to wipe out, romance. And they started with the Black Romance Office because they're the first to make this thing happen. But I'm like, not on my watch. You're going to know who Brenda Jenkins is. You're going to know who Brenda Jackson is. You're going to know who Vivian Stevens are. You're going to know all this. You're going to know who Rona D is. You're going to know who Iris Bolling is. I don't care. You might not read their books, but you're going to know who the hell they are, and you're going to know that they was first. And that's what Raw is all about. So, we have next year, we're going to be in, what are we going to be?
Atlanta.
We're going to be in Atlantic City next year, and so, we'll sit on that out. But that's what Raw is. And I was so happy that Kim came because, Kim is a big league here in Buffalo. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't Kim, like, she's doing big things. She's doing so many big things, but she came on in the Raw, and my niece was there selling, like, the little shea butter, right?
Yes.
So my niece had to go. I was like, I need somebody on this table. Kim was like, say less, I got it. She came on in, and it was a wonderful experience. And, the legendary is absolutely awesome. So that's what Raw is. Romance, Leaders, and Writers, like, yeah, the conference is big. It's not a conference, it's an experience. Because it's totally
She
different.
left. Now we're gonna correct her.
Oh, it's
So I'm gonna
Put
correct
some
her
on
bus.
it. Put some on it.
Shay's whole makeup is lifting white climb.
Yes.
And that is the thing behind everything that she does with Raw. Each year for midnight. That's midnight ace over there.
Midnight.
For a year, we catch it from the moment she finished with one, the very next day is, okay, next year, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know what we missed out on this year? We did not represent such and such and such. We need to make sure that they're represented next year. I mean, she truly believes in lifting while climbing. There's nothing to say that we gotta keep knocking people down and knocking people down in order for us to get where we are. That's not what it's about. You get so much more while you are climbing, because now I'm climbing. I'm trying to get to be Brenda. Okay? I want to be still called Iris, but I want to be where Brenda is. Okay? So, but also, I know that there's Rona, and Rona is really starting. She's in 2 books in there, and I know she needs someone to help. So if she calls me, and Iris, how do you do such and such and such? This is what you do, Rona. And I'm going to tell her what to do, because that's my job, because that's what Brenda and Beverly did for me. They taught me. They lifted me up. I remember I was trying to make a switch, trying to do things right. I like killing people. Oh,
In her books. In her books.
And she looked at
Hold
me.
on, wait, hold on, Mona. Don't say anything.
Look, we are publicly live, so you want to be politically correct on here. Right, right.
I'm just being honest. And I would kill you with some of anything. I would kill you with a frying pan.
In her books.
But I was trying to do it right. And Beverly Jenkins can historical writer and everything, and she can give you the history behind these, but she can kill people too. Right, and so Beverly, I sent Beverly that first chapter of my third book, I will never forget it, because that's what changed my life. And I sent it to Beverly, and Beverly said, girl, you have too many words up in here, listen, break this down, he did this, and then they died, here, right? But I turned to the legends in order to get me on the path that I needed to go in. And that third book did it for me. You know, it did it for me. So they gave me a hand so that I could lift higher. So that is my duty to give a hand so that others can lift higher as well. That's what Raw is about. That is what Shay Bohannon is about. She is about lifting while climbing, because girlfriend is still climbing. She's still climbing. So that's what Shay is about. So let's make sure, since she done corrected all of us.
That's my job,
Let's
that's
put
my
it all
job.
in.
But real quick, let me piggyback off of that. What Shay did at the last Raw experience, she had the men get up there on her panel.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's like
Yes.
a couple of us were the spouses, a couple of the guys were the partners.
Authors, right.
And it was great to have that experience, just to say, hey, like, it's being a spouse of an author, it's cool if you want, because we get first dibs on the book. But it's also a part to show other authors, young, new beginning authors, that their spouses are a big part of it too.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have to be the one to, you know, push, come on, baby, you can do it. Come on, baby, you can do it. Don't worry about it. I got you. You keep doing what you do. Like this one, she likes, now she says she more creative when it's nice outside. She likes to travel, so she keeps in. She wants to go somewhere so she can get her juice, you know, create juices going, and that's cool. But being on that stage empowered me as Rona's husband to push her even more. And it was like, hey, you all are appreciated.
Yeah.
So just piggyback off the question you had about the book, as far as men in the book, Shay pushed that out of us as husbands and as male authors too. We left after that, we all dapping each other up and excited.
So let's stay there. And as a husband, do you feel, I mean, because they become kind of in love with these books, the stories that they're telling, you know, so do you feel that I need my time type of situation with that?
No, because it's not about me. It's not about me. I'm her number one fan. So it's my job to make sure she's good. So my grandfather taught me, he said, put your wife on a pedestal, right? But nobody ever pays attention to that pedestal. That pedestal has to be strong, it has to be constant and consistent. Sturdy, it's gonna weather all that stuff. To make sure she shines, I gotta be that pedestal. So I know I'm gonna get my time, because Rona is very regimented, and I love her for it. But then she'll say, ooh, babe, you know what? Let's we need to connect. She pulls herself out of it. So I don't have to be the guy that, babe, that's not me. I have to make sure she's good, because besides an author, she's, you know, she's a wife, she's a mom, she's a grandmother, she's a sister, she's an aunt, she's a best friend, she's all of that. So I play my position. And when people don't learn how to play their position, things get messed up. You play your position. I know my position in her life. I'm cool. I don't have to be, no, I'm not gonna be number one all the time. It's ridiculous to think so. And like, I want what Miss Brenda husband had. I want to be her. We're best friends, but we're gonna grow.
Yeah.
So, but it's my job just to sit back and wait for her. I waited all my life to get it, so I can wait for her.
And, you know, that's what, I just want to stay here too, because in that panel too, like you said, Shay did, by bringing that panel up there, she brought a lot of that. Now, Ms. Brenda can attest to this, because a lot of men and husbands, they are also muse, because people generally write what they know.
Yes.
So Miss Brenda, the reason why we love her is because she had she embodied Black love.
Yes,
And she knew it, she lived it, so she could write it, and she could write it real.
yes.
And so you guys do play an important role. And then, yeah, you do sometimes get pushed down to the back of it, but you know, you understand it. And so that, along with the friendship matters, you gotta bring that movement too, because not all men may not understand that. You know what I'm saying? But they're muse.
That Shay recognized as well, because what Shay did is she said, okay, the support.
Right,
we support
right,
too.
exactly.
So she brought the men together so you guys could support each other.
I have brothers.
Support each
Yeah,
other.
and my
Yeah.
friends, my close friends know how
Right.
my brothers. honey, I give them a hard time, Jesus, but they are my support. And when I go places, I always want to make sure, hey, that my brothers are welcome and they have something to do. And the men in my life, because like they are my support team. And if they don't have support, then what do I have?
Right,
So
right.
I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. That's all. That's all.
This is so good because the conversation continues to come back to friendship.
That's it. That's it.
And the love in the room for, and respect in the room for the characters and the family and there's always room for more. And I think that if we take care of ourselves and those little nuances, everything else kind of fits together. The way that you showcase yourselves, it's each individually and then here today as a group. It just looked like a sisterhood. Y'all come and you have your own language. You huddle together, you talk, you have your shared jokes or what have you, and you snap into
They do.
I just love it. I just love it. Rona, I want to give you the floor in turning your Friendship Matters into the Friendship Matters experience and how you celebrate your legends.
So that was really, it wasn't my vision initially. I heard it from my team, and Shay said it kind of shortly after, came up with the same thing. And so I said, that's gotta be it. But if I'm honest about it, I've been doing this for years.
I think so too.
Right, when I really think about it, but it was my birthday party. And I mean, when I tell you I would do it big, I've been doing it for what, 15 years now?
Yeah.
So I would bring people together, you know what I'm saying? I got my desire to be so social, as social as I am, probably from my mother. She always threw a good party. And she always threw a good party. And so I began to throw parties at 40, 55 now. And I started throwing these parties, but I would say we would still have things at the house, cook and stuff like that. So when it came to the suggestions that was made by both Shay and the team, it was just kind of just extending it to those outside of my circle, I guess I would say. And then it became that. So it became, I think we started with a brunch maybe the first time. I think, I want to say Black Cow was the first one we went to, or a happy hour. And then every month we do something different. And then we went to Aruba. And, the Challenger had us in there. We did the Rich Ladies at Ritz-Carlton, and we do that every year. And so it became a movement, and sometimes it includes the guys, if it's a happy hour or, whatever that event is. So we just kind of blend everything together. And I think for me, these two ladies, they've already shared how they, kind of just brought me into the fold. I can call them for anything. I guess I would say that I was so surprised because when you look at social media and how things are, everybody's selling something, to get information. Hey, they give you this little snippet, click this button, pay $39.99, and then we'll give you this. No one asked me for anything. When I asked the question, they answered me. And sometimes more than what I expected, I received. I just asked for one thing. How do you do this? I think, matter of fact, I called Iris. She had mentioned to me about using vellum, and I didn't know nothing about it. And she was like, oh yeah, I use that. Call me, tell me when you're free, and I'll set up time, and I'll walk you through it. And she gave me a full hour of that. When we had dinner with Miss Brenda, I didn't necessarily know, understand that I'm at this event and I don't know what I'm doing. I just know I'm an author and I wanted to be at an author event, right?
So we're the interviews and everything.
She did. She called. She was like, I didn't even know her. And at the time, and so she was like, yeah, you can join it. Huh? She didn't know. She didn't know. She said, you can join. Yeah, I would love to have you. I like the title of your book. I said, okay, great. And then I think it was maybe 4 days later, you got an interview with Rolling Out magazine. I said, okay. Because my nerves is always bad. I hate talking in public, whether people know that or not. So I'm at this event and I got an interview. I done interviewed with this guy before I even make it to the event. I don't know what to expect, but I'm just so happy to be here. And I'm like, oh my God, these are authors. This is amazing, you know. We sit at the table with Miss Brenda and her cousin and just ask maybe a question or two. But within an hour, I got so much knowledge from Miss Brenda. That was just, it was just amazing to me. You know what I mean? For someone to just openly share all of that. And I remember, and I put to work, and I put in place, implemented whatever they told me, because I know they know what they're doing, obviously, right? So, you know, that's how I look at the friendship. They know they can call me for anything, I can call them for anything. Shay will put us all together. Matter of fact, I used Iris's editor for this last book, and it was just so funny because she's so raw. She's raw, and I love her for it. She does not hold back. And so these are things that was shared, right? And so that's what the friendship means to me. You know what I mean?
So now that you've done this, and I didn't tell you I was, but I'm going to ask the team. She continues to refer to the team. The team. I got to be a part of the team last night. So we have here Dana and Aubrey, who have been down with the team for a while now. We've already heard from her husband, he's part of the team too.
Yeah.
But you've been down with the team. So what is the experience? What has the ride been for you?
It's been an experience, truly. To see someone take something that she had done years ago, and it was just the simple fact of I want to finish what I started. And I actually volunteered myself to be a part of the team. I was like, yeah, I like to read. Yeah, I volunteered myself that this is what I wanted to do. I was like, well, if you need somebody else to help, you know, I'm here for you type of thing. And so she was like, oh, okay. Like, to understand the fact that this was her first, and the way that it was written, and the way that she told the story, is such a profound thing to be at the bottom level and to see what it has grown into. It's amazing. Like the way that she writes is if she's been doing this all her life. And she's already a storyteller, because I look forward to a Kiki on the phone. The way that she tells a story, especially when she's talking about back home. I got it. Like, so it was just fitting, and I love everything about being a part of the discussions that all of us have about the book, the arguments, the cuss outs she gets on the regular basis. It's a beautiful thing, but it's friendship. So it's a beautiful thing. Awesome. Go ahead.
She speaks a lot better than I do. But the experience for me has been just amazing in that I'll say I'm one of the younger team members. If not, the youngest.
First of all,
But so the experience, you know, and just kind of mirroring what Dana said, you know, she started and she finished. Who does that? Not me. Okay. But she'll also call and say, "What are you doing, Aubrey? You really you did that board amazing. Let's market you. Let's do this." I'm like, "Whoa, slow down," you know. But so my experience in the Friendship Matters experience is really that I've never really had friendship until I met Rona. Not even when I met her. I mean, it's just kind of evolved. And when she wrote the book and we had our discussions, it was kind of just my Rona knows, she knows, she has I have my moments and she's there, you do, but you do, so, I'm just very thankful, I guess, to answer your question. It's been an amazing time. So
I'm going to also, just extend this out because we have some people in the audience that, have been on this ride with you as well, and they peek out here and there due to, like, how you say, your husbands, your friends. Ron. Ron is our little brother, okay? And this experience has been an experience for you too.
Mhm.
What has it been for you?
It's been, I'll say it's been a wicked experience for me. I've had a chance to grow with this lovely young lady and see all the trials and tribulations she's went through, experience her ups and downs and her friendships that she's went through. And she's right when she says that she gets her love of being the life of the party and bringing people together from my mom, because that's what I've always seen her do. And when I grew up, I was the one that was more of the introvert, and she was more the extrovert. And one always had friends. She always had friends over, and whether they were throwing in the garbage can or whether they were just a help. And I've always found her friends to be an extension of her. They've helped me out. They've given me advice when I needed it. And so to see all that embodied in the book and those relationships being talked about and see the transparency in it and see how like Buffalo came to life inside of her book, it's been like just an amazing experience. And for me, I've been thankful because I've always supported my sister, but to see her friends be around and support her and be a team and be her reading consultant, if you will, because I'm not the biggest reader, I'll tell you right now. But I remember driving home one day and she's like, "Ron, I got this book out," and we were talking, and she's like, "It's like, it's a book, and I read it, and I was like, "Ron, you wrote a book. It's like that's not a pamphlet, it's not 100 pages, it's up there, right?" So, and I found myself not being able to put it down. We had discussions via Zoom on that, and I was able to contribute to the discussions when, for me, I'm like, I'm not reading a book, So it's been an amazing ride, and to see it all come to fruition. And like Aubrey said, she said if she starts something, she finishes it, and that's what she's always been. So to see all that come together to this culmination, and see these young ladies at this panel has been awesome.
Just for the panel itself, because we're all in the realm of the Friendship Matters experience, and you guys individually have, extended to where you are. You guys first all started as writers, but now you are internationally. USA Today, New York Times. You got movies out. You got books everywhere. How has your friendship evolved or dissolved because of that? Like, you started 30 years ago, and your true best friend, you've gone through Jesus and still looking out, oh, yeah. But it's like, I'm sure you've lost friends along the way. But Rona, you Buffalo, your hometown girl. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of them friends are still not there. So, and then Rona, Iris, of course, we know, it is what it is. You're on a movie set, and you got friends like, yeah, I ain't doing it no more. You're like, well, hold on, what happened? So, I start with you, Iris. Sorry, Dan.
No, you got it. That's what we want to hear. That's what we're here for.
I start with you, Iris. Like, how has your friendship been since you've become USA Today's best-selling, award-winning author? How has it been?
I just love the way you said that.
Girl!
Say it again.
USA Today's best-selling, award-winning author.
You develop over experiences. You develop over years. So, my best friend was Brenda. It was Brenda. So when I started writing, you had asked earlier how we did in the stories. We write what we know.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
So when we have these great men, it's because we've had great men in our lives. So I lost Raymond in 2014, right? And after that, I just didn't know how things was gonna go. But I have this team of people there. We call them the Believe team. And when I say, okay, I want to make a movie, they fly from California, from Chicago, from Rochester. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Rochester. Sorry, Rochester. They fly from Rochester. They come from North Carolina. When I call them and I say I want, they don't give me an opportunity to say what it is I want to have done. They just show up in Richmond. They slept on the floor bed, and somewhere everywhere in the house. So along the way, you are going to lose some people, but those people were meant to be in your life at that time, during that season. And as you grow, you need a different type of that's your support, and it's certain ones that's gonna be there no matter what, right? But then you may need a different type of support. So then you're gonna meet others, and then I met the Believe team. So there are some friends that is gonna be there with you no matter what. You know, we was talking about Judith earlier today. Judith is still there with me. She's not doing this with me like in this way, but she is still there. So you have, when you do the kind of work that we do, we learn who are true friends when we do this kind of work, because they're gonna always be there with you. And they're not gonna say, well, what we're gonna get in return. They just come and do because they want you to shine. They want you to be lifted up. So you are gonna have people that's gonna be in your life during the season. And then when things happen, like when I lost Raymond, they were right there to hold me together. They were right there to keep me strong. You know, they was right there to say, okay, it's time to move this way. You know, they're there for you. And I think the wonderful thing about what it is that we do, and we get to meet people in the industry in which you have chosen to live. I retired at 50. Brenda said she waited for 55. I didn't. I retired at 50, and I was in state government. You know, but I gave him my 30 years because I was going to get my retirement check. So I gave him my 30 years. But during that time, I discovered what I knew my passion was. You know, and so when I did that, my friends didn't think twice. They didn't blink. They said, okay, so what we do next? You know, and we went from there. And a good majority of them are still with me. They still travel with me for midnight. If she ain't pulling her, I'm pulling her. You know, and
She like it.
she don't have
I do.
I do. But friendship matters. Because friendship, when we use the word friendship is true friendship. It's not those sometimes. It's true friendship, and friendship does matter. So that's it.
Rona? So I won't say that during this author journey that I've lost any friends. But what I will say is that I do hold, and I hope they hold me accountable too. I have expectations for every relationship I have. And I think that is what keeps us together, because we gotta be honest with one another, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's why the story was so important to be written, because of that, because I think that it's important for people to be accepted as who they are. We're not gonna be the same. You don't want anybody to be just like you, right? Where do you grow in that? I learned from them, they learned from me. So it's been a blessing. I can't say that during my author journey that I've lost any friends, but I will say that along the way, there were people that I was close with that I'm not as close with now. But I don't have any animosity towards that, because during the time that we were close, there was value there. And so, I've gained more friends during this journey, I would say, than I've ever lost. Yeah.
Wow, those same students are my classmates who were reading my books in the 8th grade. Even though the guys come up to my book signing and they let everybody know, she forced me to read her book. I really didn't want to read it. Yes, you did. My book, okay? So those are some of my same readers now. And now that they are no longer there, like in other states now, you know, you start out in Jacksonville, Florida, you go off to college and you spread out. They're the ones that are spreading the word, and they love to say, oh, you just reading her. I was reading her in the 8th grade. You know, stick out their chest and say, you know, all of that. But those type of friendship, I really admire and I hold cherished because they were reading my stuff, and they're the one that challenged me at class reunions. When are you gonna write that book? I don't care what you're doing now, Brenda Streeter, because that was my maiden name. You need to write a book because you entertained us when we were in school. And so they are the one that pretty much pushed me into doing something different. But okay, I'm what you call a person that can do 2 and 3 things at once. I can be Miss Corporate America, and then I can write a book. I have written 50 books, made New York Times, USA Today, before I even retired. And then BET had made a movie, and I'm still Miss Corporate America. Because I like dressing up, and I like
That's a flex.
in the boardroom and all of that. And I can do that. I can do all of that. And that what helps me now, because I can write a book, I can still run my charities and my foundation, and still produce 5 books a year.
How's your friends, Doctor? Your friends, your real friends, not the little boys who sneaking around, they want to do that.
My real friends are still, most of them are still my real friends. Now, there are some who were authors. When I came in, I wasn't taking it serious. It was just a passion. And so when I made the New York Times first, and they said, well, you were not supposed to make it first because you were not taking this seriously. You still Miss Corporate America, and here I am out there doing all of this. And what I would tell them is not what you do, it's the book you write. You have to write a good book, and then you have to know how to promote that book. And you have to have people behind you that's promoting the book for you. So yes, when I made New York Times in 2008, 2 years, 3 years before I retired, that was not even on my mind. Making a list, didn't make me any difference whether I ever made a list. Because I knew my check that I was getting in the mail came from State Farm Insurance. That was going to be in my bank every 2 weeks. Everything else was on the whim of the people that read my book, whether they wanted it or not. There was royalty paid. So I knew what money to really depend on. But those are the ones that pushed the book, and the ones that I lost, the friends that I lost, the author friends I lost.
They felt that you didn't put in your time, you wasn't
I
passionate
wasn't passionate enough to write, to make all these lists. I made USA Today first, New York Times first. I was getting all these awards. But then, like I tell people, what God has for you,
Absolutely.
it is for you. You don't have to ask for it. You don't have to beg for it. If it's for you, God gonna make sure it is for you. If He's gonna give it to you. And that's the way I looked at it. The only reason I left corporate America, I was up for this big promotion that I deserved. I did not get. And when I went to HR to file a complaint, because it was obviously the person that selected it just, whatever, but that's another story. The person said, Brenda Jackson, you have gotten a movie, you've gotten this, have you ever thought that maybe God is trying to tell you that State Farm really isn't your job? That He's giving you a talent that He really want you to concentrate on? And sometimes He have to knock you over the head and say this. And those are the friends, when I said I'm leaving State Farm, the ones that backed me were the true friends who said, well, I want to tell you that all along. So, one thing of your friends are gonna always be your friends, your true friends, and those are the ones that still push me, the ones that still tell me, some of them, you are just Brenda. I don't care what you do, you're not Brenda Jackson all up here. And I tell people, I am down to earth. I am just Brenda Jackson who like to write books. That's what they know me as.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a bar.
Just with the whole friendship thing and thinking about the wonderful books that Rona has written, and that's the foundation. You can't do it all by yourself. As much as we try to be that superwoman, think that wear that cape, you cannot do it all by yourself. And having the powerful women that were in the story, Unique and Seisha and Candace, understanding that each of them had something that the other needed.
Yes.
And they brought that together, and it's such a beautiful testament to what you ladies are talking about, the fact that you need to have that team. You need to have those people that are going to rock with you, that are going to keep you level-headed and not make you think that you up here when you down here, but that are going to support you and show up for you and be there, because it is not easy to do what you all do on the regular, regardless of the passion that you have. It's still a hard journey to do what you all have accomplished. And to just think that if you didn't have those people with you, the husbands, the friends that were like, I'm going to show up, I can sleep on the floor, whatever it is that you need, we're going to read and proofread and read again the story or whatever. That's what it's about. So you have to have that foundation. And the books are so beautiful because you laid that and showed what friendship should look like.
I agree with that, because I feel like the team and your legends of, and your many other authors that I met, I felt like when they spoke about you, they were walking commercials for you all. They spoke of the things, the seasoning that you put in, the things that you've given them, the show up, for you, and the support. It's all about friendship. It's all about respect of your fellow man.
And that's why when we did Raw, the USA Today person, because I was looking at the list, and I was like, has anybody ever just wondered, like, who did this list? Who put your name?
I love that.
Yeah, who put your name on that? So
I love that too.
yes, the support. You have to recognize your support team. You gotta say thank you, because like you said, we're like the walking billboards for you guys. We want y'all just right. We'll have everything else.
We get right.
So, Mary Kate, she's the USA Today's bestseller. She was the person who put the first African American on the list because she respected the craft, and that's why we got honored the support team. I honored her, and she was like, I have imposter syndrome. I'm like, yo, you made it. I mean, you're the reason why we can say they're USA Today. We can say they're New York Times, because they wouldn't have got recognized no other kind of way. If I try to give us nothing, let's just be honest. You know what I mean? So I loved it because she was like, I read their book, I recognize their craft, I respect it. Like, I'm about to add them to these lists. And Iris got in, she's Andy Arthur. That's unheard of. You have to be traditionally taught, but you have to be something. Rona, international, people in Australia call me. I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Any, so it's like, I gotta appreciate the ones who appreciate the support team. And they awesome. Rona's like, I'm doing Rona being friends. I ain't say less. What we going? What we gotta do? Who you need? Who is your friends you want, girl? And they was like, well, we don't know who she wants, but we come. So yeah. So you're right, gotta be support.
So I always love to shout my sister out in the town. If she coming back, she here, And I always like to, I feel like I always want to connect people. One of my goals is the human library. And that's the checking out the people as opposed to checking out the books. I've always said this. I like those conversations, those difficult conversations where, you know, if you can be candid, if you can bring yourself forward enough to be seen, to be in the room, why not ask that question? Why not have that conversation? You know, no don't hurt. If it's no, is it no never, or is it no just not right now? And how can we get there? Okay, so in doing that, I connect my sister, I connect my friends with the people that I know can do so. I can't give it to you. I ain't got another dime in America to try to do. But I know somebody that knows somebody that knows something about it. And I'm gonna get it to you how I can give it to you. Okay, so if I got it, I'm gonna make you take it. But if I can't, I'm gonna find out, we'll figure out who we can tell and see what they take. So in saying that, we do have a woman in the audience that I am just in love with. And she has come to her position by way of tragedy, and just being who she is, being her authentic self, and that is our councilwoman for my district, Zanetta Everhart. And Ms. Everhart, would you come forward? No, I love you.
You're so sweet. Hello, everybody. How are you? And tell audience, oh my God, you all are amazing. I do have a question, but I'm gonna give you this first. So I am the councilwoman for the Madison District. And Kim, thank you for that introduction. And congratulations on all of your success from a fellow reader, from a fellow secret writer. I love what you do. But I do have proclamations for you all from the City of Buffalo Common Council. And just congratulating you on all of your hard work, everything you've done, and just being an amazing person. So congratulations, it's just a token of the City of Buffalo's appreciation. Oh goodness.
Awesome.
So, Rona's Friendship Matters experience, she does a weekend at the Ritz. And so I had told Miss Everhart about it, and she said, oh, I'm down, I'm gonna go.
And it was amazing. It really, really was amazing. I got to meet Rona when you came here the first time to do your book here. And that book was absolutely amazing, and what you built out of that. Like that weekend in DC was just, it was superb. I met women I've never met before, made connections with women. We shared our stories, horror stories of friendships and things like that. And y'all healed me a little bit through that weekend. So I appreciate it. I do have a question. Like I said, I'm a reader. I've always been a reader, and I've always been a secret writer since I was a kid, right? My childhood was kind of crazy, tumultuous, a lot of trauma, and so I found books, right? I would go to the library, I would write in my journal. I started writing in a journal when I was 10. And I always said one day I would be an author. I wanted to be an author. I wanted to be Oprah, actually. But I wanted to also be an author. And so I said, one day I'm going to turn my journals into a book, right? And that was one idea. And then I had another idea about a book about my life. And then I had a poetry book that I started. And now I'm actually writing a children's book series. None of these things I've ever published because they became like children. I didn't want to share my stories publicly. Like I fall in love with the stuff that I've written, but no one's ever read it. Like my sister secretly read it because y'all know how big sisters are. They just gonna read your journal, they don't care. But no one outside of that has ever read anything that I've written. And now that I've started this children's book series that I was really excited about publishing, it's turned into like a very personal thing that I want to keep to myself. And I don't know why I'm scared to publish it or like push it out there, but what is your advice? Like go back to your first book. What gave you that push to just want to push it out there?
Before I children may be experiencing some of the things that you experience, they need to know they're not out here in the world alone. Yes, they are, all of our stories are our babies. We know that. We hesitate to let it go. But you have stories to tell that will touch somebody's life. Even if it touched one person's life, that is a person that you helped to say from your words, from your experience. So my advice to you is to get over that fear, girl, and get that book out there. Because somebody needs to hear that story. You wrote it down for a reason. Something pushed you to write those words down on paper. People have stories inside of them all the time, but they don't take the time just to put it down on paper. You did. You took the time to put it down on paper. And now that you put it down on paper, it's time for you to share it, because there's somebody out there that needs to hear it. I think that's my eyes. Anybody else have
And
something?
I will say this, I mean, I finished mine 17 years prior to publishing. I mean, finish what you started. Why start something and not finish it? So I think that's, you have to release it. You have to release it. You're obligated.
And I just want to say, based on what you said, I agree with Iris and Rona. Share. I know you say, because I'm like you, there's certain things I write that you don't share, but you don't know what you might share that can touch other people. I'm a book writer, but I write poetry. You say you wrote poetry. And it was only after my husband passed away that I started sharing some of the poetry I wrote to him. And even after his death, I wrote poetry. And when people write me and say, I read the poem you wrote for your husband after he died, I'm going through this now. I lost my husband, and your poem gave me what I needed. So,
And if I just, from the Little Peanut Gallery, I don't always follow this, but it just felt like it needed to be said. God would never bring you to something without a way through it.
Amen. Thank you.
It was a good word.
We can continue our conversation. I have some refreshments and everything for you all and for everybody. But I also want to be able to get you out there and meet one-on-one with these people. But I want to acknowledge some of our people in the room. We have Zanetta here, and I just want to kind of acknowledge some of our authors in the room. Melanie Hicks and finance, she's right. And Miss Lisa Jacobs. I told you, I didn't know this last night about with Wow. She's got her book out there too. I just think that it's necessary for us to acknowledge those that come out with just support. I appreciate Miss Rhonda. She experienced the brotherly experience, that friendship matter experience with us. I just love what you and your husband are doing in our community. This is good. And just the love and show up. You know what I'm saying? Board chair, Karima Al-Bahari, I appreciate you always being my ride or die by my side when I was doing board chair things and when I was doing all of my author talks and everything. And she just kind of got on the board and just kind of embraced me, and she show up. She show up and she call and she check on me and you want me to try? Oh, yeah. I like this girl. She just is really good for, but the one person that I really want to shout out today is Brenda. Brenda is the assistant director, deputy director of public service. I went to high school with her. We graduated from Grover, Cleveland, and she's with my brother, our oldest brother, Detrick, and she has been in the library. She has done every job there is to do. And nobody can be more for the library. than this woman has. And I just want to thank you for embracing my sister and these ladies and making sure what we needed to have happen here today happens here today. You do so much, and she's so quiet. And such a roaring force when it comes to her public service. So she makes sure that our library and our word and our people are out there. I appreciate you. So without further ado, ladies, is there anything else you would like to impart on our audience?
Can I just say something? Earlier today, Iris mentioned that she had a series on a TV series that
Yes.
is filming, but you did not say who it was. So tell the people what books this series came from.
Oh, okay. It was from the Heart series, the very first series that I wrote. And we decided to take each book and make each book into a 6 one-hour episode for the TV series. And we ran it at 5 o'clock in the morning. And we would all get together on social media at 5 o'clock in the morning.
4 for me.
So that we could all watch it together, you know, and everything. And then, and I'm gonna be honest with you, season 1 was interesting. I give it a C+, because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Okay, that. But season 2, I got the groove of things. And season 2, we got it pretty damn right. Right. So, one thing, she has inspired me to say. Oh, good. Everyone has a journey. And along our journeys, we're going to touch lives. We're going to touch some in the good way. We're going to touch some in the not so good way. But our journey is our individual journeys. My journey is different than Rona's. My journey is different than Brenda's. Shay is all on the whole planet by herself. So, but our journeys are different. And what we need to know is how important it is that God put us in a place to do what it is that He needs you to do in order to help somebody else along their journey. So that's what I want to leave. This is what I want to leave with the audience today. Everybody's journey is not easy. Some have it a little easier than others. Some have it a little rough. But those of us who've had it a little rough, we understand what it's like to fight from the bottom and to keep fighting. You know, so please know that your journey is not supposed to be like anybody else's journey. It's supposed to be your own because you are unique in who you are.
Before we go, I just want, because we all on book tours, so I want each one of them, because all their books came out this year. Like, all their books came out this year. It's been crazy good though. So I just wanted to tell you, like, Iris, your latest book that just came out, tell us just a little bit about it. Rona, of course, yours, and then Brenda, we're on your 150th, for your 150th School in the Tea, which is, oh my God, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's wonderful. So just tell us, the book that just came out, where they can go and get the book and all that good stuff, and so they can support.
My latest novel that was released is called Convergence. It is my suspense series. I told you guys, I do like to kill people.
In the books.
In the books. In the books. That particular series is very true to life. It is what we are dealing with right now. And this series, we actually started this series back with Liz with Curves. And that was about 5 years ago, when the exact things that's happening right now. We started this series 5 years ago talking about these things.
Yeah.
So Convergence is my suspense series. Those are for people who like to see people die when they die.
In the books.
But I do also, I write romance series, and my next book that's coming out is it is romance. So and that is going to be Jaguar. That's going to be the second book to the Next Generation series.
And where can I get your book?
Pardon me?
Where can they purchase your book?
Oh, I'm sorry, you can purchase my books anywhere, main place is my website, but you go to Barnes and Noble, you go to Amazon, you go, if you like e-books, you go to Apple, Kobo, pretty much wherever books are sold, you're gonna be able to get my books, but I would prefer that you come to my website, and why is that? Because I like your money. IrisBolling.com, it's just me.
Okay, so my newest release is The Matters of Friendship, which is the sequel to Friendship Matters. It is a continuation, I mean, it literally starts off where we left off.
Yes.
And I was excited to be able to start with Candace because she was my most difficult character in the previous book, and I love her in this book. She's so feisty, and so it's still, you know, centered around their friendships, but navigating their ups and downs while they support one another. It is more on the women's fiction than romantic comedy like the first one. You still laugh at it, but it's got, to me, having written 20-something years later, like I wrote this book, although it continues 20 years later, right? It's really, to me, it gives you more of the meat of the characters. You get to understand them better, why they do what they do, how they support one another just a little deeper. The men stand out even more in this book, which I love. The kids stand out in this book. It's just got everything. So it's definitely a continuation. I think you're gonna love it. I can't wait to hear your feedback. So you can find it ronadwrites.com. Always, it's on Amazon, it's in ebook. One day it will be in audiobook, we'll see. But anywhere those are sold, you can pretty much find it. So.
Just
And I'll
before,
have some here.
before you go further, I know we asked it in this audience here, but the live audience also wants to know when the third book is coming. I'm just a messenger.
So my agent is saying refer to her.
Next year sometime.
Okay.
Or maybe
Yeah,
the
just as
end
long
of
as you
this-
tell the people.
Maybe the end of this year, we gotta figure it out.
Don't get it,
Okay.
though.
Yeah,
I know
she
they
already
want
got the story in her head.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
I know they want it.
She's
Do you
good.
have a title?
Not yet.
No.
I usually don't get a title until I'm in the middle of the book.
I see what you're trying to get us. The third one's gonna be good. I know the synopsis of it's gonna be good, y'all. We ready.
Like everyone has said, my 150th book came out Tuesday. It is based on my very first family. I write family novels because I have a big family on my dad's side, my mom's side. And I write about the Medeiros family from Houston, Texas, the Westmorelands, the Steeles, the Masters, and all of my books. And of all the books I've written, it's only one book I've written that's not connected to a series. So that says a lot. And that don't let that scare you. Don't think just because this is number 24 in a series, you have to read all the ones before it. I write the book in a way that if you pick up whatever book, it's an independent book, but what it will do is make you want to go back and know the family. And got that lesson from Noah Roberts. Say you always write the book, if it's number 9, when you finish with it, don't leave anyone out. Write it so if the first reader, you get a good story. But it makes them want to go get the other 8. So that means that 149 of my books are still in print. And that's really, really good for me. But, and it's part of the Medeiros family, and I'm taking my writing skill even a little further, because next month I'm doing my first young adult book from age 10 up. And it's based on that same family where I'm writing the first Black Nancy Drew. It's a mystery novel, a teenage mystery novel, and she has 5 kids. And all of these characters are the kids of the characters I've written about before. Only thing I'm not writing is Brenda Jackson. I'm getting a pen name because I don't want any little kids to go say, Mama, when the next Brenda Jackson?
Right, right, right. That's important, that's important.
Under Brenda Jackson for kids. So I'm writing that book under Lauren Madera.
All right.
And you have to get the Madera family, you know who Lauren
Norm
Madera
Madera
is.
is, yeah.
So this Hygiene 50's book is called Spilling the Tea. And it spills the tea about the Madera's family. I'm like, if you follow the Madera's family, I mean, some mysteries are going to be resolved. You're going to understand, you know, where they're coming from, why they are the way they are. Mama LeBaron, who is the matriarch, yes, of the Madera's family, you're going to know a little bit about her story. Because we always hear about the Madera, and we're like, well, Mama LeBaron, like, what's up with her? What's her tea? And now you get to see everything in this new Hygiene 50 novel that's out now. So these are my clients, as you all may know now, and I need you all to go and support. We want them to continue to be on the list. We want them to continue to be able to come to the libraries and share their stories with you guys. So we need you to go and support. When you see their names, just buy everything they got. I don't care. If you just see Rona read the newspaper, purchase the newspaper she reads. So that's what we want. So y'all give it up for my girls.
Because we were talking about books, that I will just give a little keepsake for your experience here in Buffalo. So, one for you, one for you, one for you.
Hey.
Thank you all for the support for coming. We truly appreciate your attendance here, your feedback, and your smiling faces. Thank you.
Is there anything anybody else would like to ask the office before we go out into the maze and social and, I think, yes?
My question is, how did you start the independent publishing process?
You know,
I mean, I know that's a big question.
no,
I'm just like-
actually, I was, everyone who has worked in corporate America or state government, Brenda just mentioned the same thing I just heard. I was up for a promotion, and they gave it to a person, and then they asked me to train that person. And I said, okay, it's time for me to go home. And I went home, and I was sitting on my son's nerve. He said, Mama, go read a book, go write, go do something. So I went home and I just got on the computer, I just started writing. When I stopped, it was 800 pages that I had written. And that became my first 2 books. I had no idea how to publish. I didn't even know what self-publishing was. I didn't know how to go about it. So I did try to submit it to a local publisher. And when, and that was just a story, just a paper. That's all it was. It's just what I wrote down on paper. And I hear you. Okay. I'm speaking to you, trying to. But when I took it to him, he wanted me, my girl Tracy bumped her hair. We're black. We bump our hair. We do not hot curl our hair. And he wanted me to change it to, oh no, we don't know what that means. You mean hot curl? No, I meant exactly what I wrote. She bumped her hair. And he said, well, people are not going to understand that. And I said, what people? Because all the people I knew understood that. And at first I said, well, okay, that's one thing that needs to change. But then he came up with a cover, and he came up with a cover with a Caucasian couple on the beach. Anybody who has read the Heart series, no, I don't have nothing to do with no damn beach, right? And I said, oh,
no Caucasian people.
right. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna have to go and learn some things about this publishing world. And so I went and I took a course at community college, because I had to learn, y'all, I work for the state, right? So I took a course at community college, and I learned how to publish for myself. And there were some bumps along the way, but when I did that first book, and I had my book signing, that first book signing, I packed the place. I don't know why all those people came up in there, but they came, but they were friends, they were family, they were people see where this story was gonna go.
Supporters.
And they supporters and they came, and that's when I knew I had a story to tell. And that went from the first 800 pages ended up being 2 books, because you can't make no 800-page book. And it was so that became my first 2 books, and it was so well received it knocked me back a step or 2, because I didn't know how to tell.
Because I'm still paying the publisher, and I did have to alter something.
Wait a minute, what?
So we need to have a conversation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
You just set some knobs.
That's a place for it though.
That's exactly what it is.
We need to have that conversation.
Who's gonna make money off of your book and you're paying them? I'm trying to,
Don't
paying
pay
them.
Don't
Unless
pay.
you-
Yeah. We
Yeah. But again, to feedback on her, and then we're gonna like the one-on-one conversation. And don't be afraid to be an indie publisher too. A lot of people have this stigma like, if I'm indie publishing, that I'm not gonna be seen or they're not gonna know my books or not. Indie is where it's at, because sometimes the traditional publishing, now that I'm in this whole literary agent stuff, it's like they got a little stigma to them too. So some people are like, oh, that's another little Harlequin book or whatever, we ain't reading. It's like, well, that ain't, because they think it's all this cookie cutters, they're using the same people on the cover, it's the same, it's the same stock market, it's the same stuff. So don't be afraid to do that, because sometimes the publishers don't understand your voice. Just to tell a little bit of Rona's tease, she'll be all right, she'll cuss me later on. We like sending her stuff out, because she's wonderful, she's a good storyteller. So we need a publisher to get this book and to go beyond the reach that we have. And the publisher, they hit back and was like, we love it. They all love it. We love this book. We love it. And one young lady said, well, I just can't I couldn't get behind the champion the voice. And I'm like, well, that's her voice. Well, first of all, what does that mean? You love it, but you can't champion the voice. Like, what does that mean? So, and another lady was like, oh, that's cool, but just it's the voice. I'm like, well, that's her voice. So she can't change her voice, because her voice is what got your attention anyway. Right. You can read the book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now that we're on her second book, everybody's like, what Rona doing? Like, nah, nothing. Because she's publishing her own thing. You know what I'm saying? And so in Iris, ain't no way in the whole hell the publisher's gonna get her, because she killing people in the beginning of the book. And she killing like senators and government. You can't kill me. Ain't nobody gonna pray.
especially not now.
Senators out there that need to.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, but you have it's like you have other people who won't even pick up a HarperCollins book, who won't even pick up a Penguin House book, because they see how the authors are that are already assigned to that. So don't be afraid of that. Brenda, she knew that time, whatever. They told her one of her books is in a series, a shelf as a hottie as a shelf. That ain't gonna go over. She's okay, cool. Say less. She published it. They came back and got it, because they like, oh yeah, wait, we like to eat now. There's some shelves out there, but she had to do it on her own to let them know you're not gonna change my voice. So don't ever be afraid of that. You just look. You take one step, God got the rest. You got all the rest. So you got 50 sales already. You almost there. And then we know a whole lot of people. And you just got to support it, but just don't be afraid to invest in yourself. And invest in yourself, you don't pay no publisher. So we're gonna talk about that after the fact.
Consulting right here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here for all of that, because I do not believe in you paying someone for your work. You're paying someone to push your work that they don't make money on.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's your work. Those are your words. That's your voice.
Right.
That's all I got to say on that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Holler it out.
Yes,
come
what you
on.
mean? What you mean?
I got a consultant and photographer.
You won already. You already won. That's it.
Right.
But here you have the epitome of friendship, fellowship,
Yes.
and lifting while climbing. So this is networking, and this is why they do what they do. I mean, they write the books, you get the stories, right? You entertain people, but along the way, you heal people,
Yes.
you encourage people, you know, and you do a whole lot of stuff. You know, you have to tell the story in order for it to be of help to somebody. But I'm a reader, and I can just tell you that when I go to work, I work a 9 to 5. I go to work, and when I come home, that is my helpmate. That's how I decompress as I read a book. Now, Iris's books is a little bit questionable, but I read the book, you know, because they're doing something in that book that I don't have to deal with. That's somebody else's problem. You know what I mean? But along the way, you learn stuff. You know, you
And I
can't
see
help
how
but
Midnight
learn.
still got a job, honey, because I caught her all up and down the whole book. And then, well, she at work, what you doing? I got to tell them home for me.
Well, you know, we do what we love. Like I'm with Miss Brenda, it's like saying, I know that check is gonna be in my bank every 2 weeks. And then I got a lot of vices because I travel, you know, with these authors, and I read, and you know, and I have, you know,
Can we also let people know that Midnight Ace has a business called Custom Creation?
yes.
And she does some of everything. If you go to my website and you go to my merchandise, that's Midnight Ace.
Yep.
Custom Creation merchandise.
Yeah.
So she does that. I think the wonderful thing about what we do is we don't just uplift people who are authors.
Yep.
We try to uplift
Yes,
people who are
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm a product of that. I'm a product of that.
One thing that I just always think that helps is a smile. So when you see that sister on the street and she looking, when she left home, she knew she was looking amazing. And maybe she ain't got it quite right. Tell her she doing.
Mm-hmm.
Straighten the crown without letting her know that the crown is crooked. You know, say hello. Don't just walk past somebody. Ask a question. Pop up a conversation with somebody that you wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you will find little nuggets of jewels in your travels, and it would be very beneficial to tuck away for maybe the later day.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.